Hey guys, it is Duke, and welcome back to the episode of Singleplayer Survival. I about called it Singleplayer UHC Survival just because one of the last times I ever played Singleplayer was in a Singleplayer UHC Survival world in which my goal was to go to the end. However, in any series I ever tried of that, I never ended up reaching the end. There was always something that just prevented me from doing so, and I really would have been better off just having the thing. What is that thing called? The portal. That's the end portal. I should have went into creative and put it right at spawn, so I'd be able to go back there once I'd gathered up resources to do so. But I always had the issue where I'd have to go looking, and I was never able to find it, which resulted in some really come on, dude. Alright. But it would always result in me never completing the series. And that's the thing I love about this single player world, is that I don't have to, oh my gosh. But I don't have to record every second that I'm on here. And there's a lot more freedom to do what I want. I can build, and I'm just so much more interested in this series. So last episode, I told you that I knew what I was doing in today's episode. Today is Friday. Well, it isn't for me currently, but the time you're reading this, or the time that you're actually watching this video, I don't know why you'd be reading this, unless you're on subtitles. Maybe you're deaf. I'm not even joking when I'm saying this, so please don't think I'm trying to offend deaf people or something, but maybe you are, and you're just listening. No, you can't listen if you're deaf. What am I even talking about? Let's get some more piggies going. Come here, guys. Oh yeah, you can't do that. Nope, these gotta go to the cows. Alright, so we got some little cows being bred. So guys, I think today is the day we talk about our plans, and we talk about stuff that is involving the series, rather than just talking about how you plan on seeing this video. So, as you may know, which I expect you to, when we started this world, we realized there was a village, and we immediately went over to that village, and we're like, wow, this is really cool, you know, this is a big world. And then out of the corner of our eyes, we saw a nice desert temple. I'm like, wow, this world really has a lot. And then we stumbled upon another village, and so the spawn point was about there, but I think I'm gonna move that to maybe like in here, maybe up on this hill a little bit or something, because I had this great idea. What if this entire area between the two villages becomes this sort of like park? And I'm not talking like massive trees and like really dense forest sort park. I'm talking just a huge area that has all of our sort of archives. As we progress into the season, the dragon egg will be here. We'll have, you know, our first pickaxe we ever made, stuff like that. All of that will be right here, right in the middle, and it should be really cool because we'll have little shrines and little monuments to everything. And there won't be any main build right at spawn, which I know a lot of people do. They just love big builds, like a massive base right at the spawn point. And I don't know. I don't want that. I want you to be able to join the world, and you're just surrounded by parks and maybe some wheat fields or crop fields, a little bit of a farm sort deal too. And then on either side, there's one village, and then there's another village, and each village represents something. I don't know what these represent yet, but at some point, I'm going to figure out what I want these to represent. And each village is going to sort of have its own thing that makes it special. We're going to have certain things that this village has that the other one does not, and vice versa. We might keep the same sort of layout of the town, but we're going to work on each little building in the town and fix them up and make them a little nicer looking, because really, villagers are not nice to look at. These are not great looking villages, and I guess that's just how Mojang does it, because as you saw with the Darkwood Mansion or whatever it is, it's just not a good looking place. I don't like it, but that's alright. because just the sort of thought, the idea behind it was really cool. So that's that. But I am going to get a shovel, and actually we're probably gonna need a couple shovels. Probably not that many, but we'll make that many. And I'm going to go path out a giant area. So today's episode is mainly just going to be preparations for building the park in the future, and I don't really want to go ahead and really get to doing anything. I might do the central part of the park today, at least the sort of idea and layout behind it, but I'm not going to complete anything probably today that's monumental, because you know, stuff could change. I might realize this is a horrible idea and not want this at some point. So we're just going to go with it for now. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, guys, so I've just quickly gone ahead and laid out where the paths are going to go. I do not have the paths actually done yet, but I knew that wasn't going to happen at the time being, because there's a little bit more we need to consider before we just start making the paths. Like, I don't want to just spend hours upon hours on the path and realize I don't like how it looks. So right here, let's place down. All right, so this is going to be a very important placement, because this is exactly where we want the center to be. So I think this is a nice, yeah, 330, 330. That's a good number. Now 45. Would that work? I do kind of like that as well. Let's go right there. So that's going to be the middle of spawn. Look how monumental of a decision we just made. So I'm going to build a little circle around here, and then we're going to have roads going off. Each of these roads means something. So we're going to have each road to a village, like we said we would, and then it's going to have the other two cardinal directions, so we'll have a north and a south. I did not realize this was north, actually. I thought this was north, but it's not. So we're going to have a path that leads that way to future project, and then we're also going to have a path this way down by the river, which will be to a harbor at some point, but I don't really know when we're going to get around to the harbor, because there's many other projects we need to work on. But first of all, something I'd like to just do so we can say we really got something done is turn this little area right in here into a lovely lake. So we're gonna combine that pond in this part of whatever this is. I don't actually know. This combines with the river, but we're going to make this a giant lake here. So that should look really cool, and I'll be back when that is done. Just gonna put on some nice music, and I don't know, we're gonna get to work, so I'll be back. Guys, I screwed up. This is really embarrassing. And even though the entire lake is completed, that's not what we're talking about right now. That is not embarrassing. Actually, it looks really cool. But I got done recording my episode on Thursday night. I had recorded the final segment of this episode, and it was really, really good. And I was really, really happy with how it turned out until I got to my editing software and realized there was no audio for it. So I'm hoping there's audio for this one, because if there's not, this is going to be really, really disappointing, because this is the second go around, and I really cannot afford to continue doing so, because if I keep pushing this off, then I have to keep pushing off my next Afterlife episode, which is really sad, because I really just want to get on there and keep recording. But here's for the best. We're going to hope that this audio is recording right now. But well, guys, the lake is done, and I think it looks really cool. It's actually a lot nicer than I expected it to be. At first when I was building it, I was like, you know, it might be a little weird because of how flat it is. You know, there's no depth. It's not like it gets super deep in any spot or anything, except for the natural part. But the majority of the natural part was already flat like this, so I thought, you know, honestly, let's just keep it this way. So we did, and I think it worked out really well. We have these two little islands in it, which look really, really look good. It took me about 2 hours to clear out, just because there was a few things I had to change about it, and the fact that I kept having to make more shovels. But now it's done, and I'm happy with how it turned out, and it looks really, really cool. The only issue is, earlier in today's episode, I had these little things called ideas for my paths. And here's where I wanted the path to go across. And then, for some odd reason, I decided, hey, let's just clear out all the land that's between here and spawn. Meaning, I'm going to have to make a big old bridge. And I don't think I want it here anymore. So that sort of just defeats the purpose of that. So I think what I'm going to do is, next episode, right on over here. Right here is where I want to bridge. I'm going to bridge all the way across. That way, it's pretty simple, pretty easy to get across. And that means just this area right here is going to be the outside of the village, and I'm going to bring it towards us. So if you can imagine, that's sort of the exterior, the back part of the town, and all of this right in here will be filled in with more of the town eventually. So what I want to do in the rest of today's episode is head on over to the middle circle part and sort of get a concept, an idea laid out for how I really want it to look. So I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to let you guys know all about it when I'm done. See you guys in a bit. Okay, so I think after just a quick little layout, we have come up with what we want to do here, and I feel as if it's actually really, really cool if you sort of understand what it's going to look like when it's all done. So first of all, right smack dab in the middle, we're going to have a spawn fountain. And by a spawn fountain, I don't mean just some dinky little fountain. This thing is going to be huge. It's going to be a very tall, a very prestigious, and just a very beautiful fountain. Something that I want to sort of be seen for quite some ways around, just because this is the spawn. This is where we're considering our middle of spawn, which means it should be kind of special. Everything leads from here. You know how all roads lead from Rome? This is going to be sort of like our Rome. This is our central location. So, because of that, I want a nice little sort of area around it, which means in all that section, we're going to have a sort of place where everything comes together like the roads do, but not talking about the roads. I'm talking about, like, we're going to have a to-do list. We might have our enchanting section. We might have our nether portal and one other thing. I don't know what the fourth one will be, but it'll be something like that. Something sort of that aspect. And then directly on the outside, that will be a nice little park. It'll be a very dense park. That'll be the dense part. So I talked about this early in the episode, I think, unless it was part of the part that didn't record the audio. I said that I was going to have this entire spawn area be a park. And when I said park, I did not mean like dense trees and stuff like that really closed in. I meant open, lush, beautiful, with tons of flowers and bushes and just a really nice area to be in. So that's how it's going to be, except for over here, directly around the outside of the main spawn point, is going to be a very dense forest, probably only 2 or 3 trees thick, but if you're in that area, you'll definitely feel like you're in a forest. And judging on the fact that a couple weeks ago on the Afterlife server, me and Dragonfrost and Michael all teamed up to work on the Afterlife Central Park. This should be really easy to sort of replicate. I don't want to do it exactly how that looked, but I want to do it similar, and I'm really interested to see how that turns out. But this is where the episode is going to end. So before we leave off, I need to address the fact that in episode 2, I didn't end up doing the question of the day. So that means I need a question of the day for last time and today's episode. And what I mean through this is that I am a little worried that since I forgot, I did it one episode, and by episode 2, I'd already forgotten about question of the day. I'm sort of wondering if question of the day is really something I want to continue. So you guys let me know. That'll be my question of the day for episode 2. Will be, shall I continue question of the day, or should it just be stopped? You know, is it really not something that interests people? And then for the question of the day for episode 3, if we do decide to continue, I want to know, what redstone projects do you want me to see? I will do whatever it takes redstone wise. I will do so much outside of the Iron Titan, just because the Iron Titan is something that happens in spawn, and I don't want a giant ugly thing right above our spawn. So I will do anything else redstone related. And that means if you want me to do a 64-bit computer, I will figure it out. I will spend hours upon hours designing if that's what you want me to do. But that'll do it for today's episode. If you did enjoy today's episode, please be sure to leave a like and comment below why you did enjoy it. And if you didn't, also comment and let me know why you didn't, because I am always trying to figure out what to do better and what I need to change on my channel so that you guys are happy. But thank you guys for watching. This has been Duke. Goodbye.